Ineos had a whole month to show United fans just a little tiny shred, a modicum, a little iota of ambition to show that they're serious about getting United back challenging, like in a timely fashion, right? And that won't take forever. They had a month to show even that they're just better than the Glazers in any way, shape, or form, right? A whole month to put United in a better position, perhaps to qualify for Europe next season, a whole month to maybe buy a bit of good faith from the United fan base as well. And quite frankly, they failed. They failed miserably to convince anybody to show a little bit of that ambition. So much for that mystery midfielder, right? Unfollows Ben Jacobs. Anyway, I'm not happy if you can't tell. United fans are not happy. A lot of them are not happy. I want to know today if you're happy, you guys. I want to know what your thoughts are, what your feelings are about everything. We are reacting today a little bit to Manchester United's pitiful, pitiful January transfer window. So, like, subscribe, share. Let's get stuck in. Bow. How's everybody's week going so far? It's pretty early in the week, but I mean, some people might have had eventful weeks. I've had eventful weeks. Really, the weekend I've been helping move furniture, been helping some people deal with some personal crises and whatnot. It's been a very stressful week. I'm a little sick, so I'm feeling a little bit. Who's in the chat today? Big up, Lucky Singh in the house. Been a minute, Lucky. Hope you're doing well, my friend. So Sangari, Carlos Baleba. Yeah, I mean Sangari, you guys know we've talked about Sangari quite a bit. I like Sangari a lot, but yeah, let us know what you're going on. I've got a poll going as well on the posts. Go check that out, or at least just a question for you guys, because we're going to revisit that question next week in terms of what we look like in the summer. But let me know what you guys are going, because what we're here to talk about today. So January came and went, right? January window came and went with United not really doing anything of note apart from, sacking Ruben Amorim and Michael Carrick hitting the ground running really as our interim boss with 3 wins on the bounce. Some big competition in there too as well that he got those wins against. Um, that's not necessarily me complaining about the fact that, Carrick is here. I'm not necessarily here to complain about permanent manager, just pointing out that it's really all that's happened this month. But I guess I will take a second to point out that it is another strike against Ineos, if you are going to be on that same page as me, because it shows that they just don't have a plan in place. Another failed appointment from Ineos, and you guys know that's a big part of why I'm fully on the Ineos out bandwagon, is that they don't look like they know what they're doing. So that's a conversation for another day. What I'm complaining about today, and what I have been complaining about for a while now, is again this complete and utter abandonment of ambition that's been shown by Ineos. They've just completely left ambition behind. They put it down. They said, we're going to carry the money thing. We're going to carry the stadium thing. We're going to carry this. We're going to leave the ambition behind. The whole getting us back to challenging thing doesn't seem like they're in too big of a hurry when there are opportunities there to kind of kickstart that to expedite it a little bit. There's opportunities there this past month. And that has a lot to do with the fact that we did not strengthen at all. There were some exits, to be sure, right? There were some exits, but again, these are only really loans or just permanent deals for some youngsters that nobody's ever really seen, right? So, like, Toby Collier went to Hull City on loan after his West Brom loan was canceled because picking up injuries left and right. Picked up another one, which is why he brought back. But now he's at Hull City on loan. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he can stay fit. Hopefully we'll just get some money for him, because I can't rely on Toby Collier. I liked Toby Collier. I thought he looked good when he played. We didn't play that much, maybe a handful of matches for us. And while he did look good, he's just too injury prone. James Scanlon joined Swindon Town on loan. I don't know if you guys saw that. Jacob Devaney went to St. Mirren on loan. Ethan Wheatley is now at Bradford City. Sekou Kone's loan to Lausanne Sport, another Ineos-owned club in the Swiss League, has been made official. He was there training on a trial basis to kind of see if it would be a good fit. It looks like it will be a good fit for him. So he is there. He joins up with another academy player from United, Enzo Canabayek, who's been there for all season. Gabriel Biancheri to Rotherham United. He's going to link up with Dan Gore on loan there. I'm pleasantly surprised with that one. You guys know I really like Biancheri. I think he's been looking excellent in the academy. I'd like to see him get tested. He's a little older, right? I think it was 18, 19 now. like to see how he hangs. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. You guys know we'll do another loan watch stream later on in the season after these guys have had their loans for a while. We did another one back in November, so you can go check that one out. Some of the information is a little bit obsolete now, but other than that, Ethan Williams still at Falkirk. Radic Vitek doing bits at Bristol City still. Morehouse was recalled from his loan at Leyton Orient. We'll see what happens with him, but he was at Leyton Orient. Ethan Ennis is at Fleetwood Town looking really good. Dylan and I got to see him play live when we were at the Salford City match in December, so he looks really, really good. Harry Amos was at Norwich after his Sheffield Wednesday loan expired in January, but he is returned because he picked up a long-term injury at Norwich, so he is back. So we're going to assess that, see what happens. Who knows how that looks? Reese Bennett has gone from the club permanently now. Now, he was on grief leave. What do they call it? Like personal leave. I think his father passed away several months ago, so he's been kind of doing his own thing, but he is now gone. I forget where he went off the top of my head. Someone let me know. But for an undisclosed fee, he's gone for good now. Joe Hugel has also left the club for an undisclosed fee permanently. I think his contract was up this summer anyway. And then Sam Mather went to a Turkish club for free. So we didn't charge anything, but we do have a 20% sell-on clause. So again, a couple of exits for some academy players who've never really seen any minutes. And then a couple of loans being shuffled around. It's good to see Abiyan Sherry go out on loan. I think that could really do. And then obviously Sekou Kone does need some minutes. I think that's going to be important for him. Obviously, he had that big long-term injury that he picked up, I think, August or September, the eye socket fracture in the academy match, and then he was out for a while. So it's good to see him back. But is there anybody I missed from the academy? Because, again, that's literally the only business we've done this month. Jim's in the house. Big up, Jim. Hope you're doing well, man. Let us know how you're doing today. So, again, nothing in January. Really, really frustrating. And then you can say, I mean, I hear it all the time, and it's the age of argument. You know, everyone says, Sean, you know, major signings aren't going to happen in January. You don't make big signings in January. Well, Bruno says hi. Patrick Dorgu says hi. Juan Mata says hi. Vidic, Evra, they all say hi. You can get it done. Again, it comes back to ambition. What is your ambition? Is your ambition to keep the momentum going? Is your ambition to really push on for, in some cases, a title charge or a top 4 charge, or go deep in Champions League? Now, again, we're not in multiple competitions, so that argument can be made. Again, I'm not here to just tell you what I think is right and what everyone else thinks is wrong. I want to hear all the arguments. But even if you argue that big signings are expensive or difficult to get done in January, again, this is what I mean when I say no ambition. You have to show the ambition to go out and get it done. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this whole, are there available targets? Like, no one is ever available. You have to go and get them. No midfield additions in this month basically is Ineos saying, hey, you know, if we get Champions League, great, but we're not spending more to maybe put ourselves in the best position to do that. That's Glazernomics. That's what we've been doing for years. I think it was Steehausen or somebody else said it several months back. Like, the Glazers would rather spend $100 million to qualify for top 4 than to spend $200 million to try to win the league. Like, that's Glazernomics to the T. It's cowardly, it's lazy, it's frugal to the point where it does kind of cross the line into actually self-harming your club a little bit. And what it is it's not indicative of ownership that really wants to get United back to where it should be, really wants to, and looks at the current situation, does a quick self-assessment and says, hey, we're in a decent position here. We could really lock this in. Not only does finishing higher in the league guarantee you more prize money, but again, qualifying for Champions League is a big deal future-wise, summer-wise. Just a little bit of money spent in the winter window could have gotten that done, and I'm really frustrated. Oh, everyone's jumping in the chat here. What we got here? Jim says, that seems weird to me. Morehouse back for Orient, but it's not. It comes into the team. Yeah, I doubt. I know that some leagues still have their transfer window open, like the Swiss League, for instance. I think Turkish League might have. I can't remember now off the top of my head. You guys might have to let me know. But yeah, so that was the thing with like Lausanne and Sekou Kone, was that the Swiss League's transfer window was open for at least another week or so. So there could be opportunities there. Maybe we'll send him off to Lausanne. JSN, the cool kid, big up, says maybe they're leaving that out to the summer. We're leaving what out? Let me know. What's up? Nota says a lot of competitors for top 4 bought this Jan. Yeah, exactly. We're getting into it. Trust me. We're here to rant today. I sat down this morning. Wasn't planning necessarily to do something today. I almost had to take a day off. I had some computer issues, so my other computer that I usually do all my notes on stuff is being worked on right now. Needs a new hard drive. I don't know how to do that, but so we'll wait a couple days. So, but I sat down. I got fuming this morning. Got my coffee, and I was like, I just started writing. I started went on a rant. So that's what we're doing today, man. Jim's doing okay. That's good, man. Like to see how everyone's doing. I like to check in with everybody. Maybe that's the therapist in me. I don't know, but I always like to see how everyone's doing. So, but as Notas says, City spent more than 100 million this month. Bournemouth brought in both Alex Toth and Rayon from Vasco da Gama, and Sunderland also grabbed Nilson Angelo from Anderlecht. Now, these are all three players are players that I've scouted on this channel over the summer. So go check those scouting reports out. Alex Toth is a big one that I felt like I missed out on. He's a really good midfielder. He was playing at Ferencvaros, but now he's at Bournemouth. But yeah, all players that I've scouted on the channel. Thank you. Villa got Douglas Luiz and Tammy Abraham on loan this year. Strand Larson went to Palace. Fulham picked up Oscar Bob. Forest grabbed Luca Netz. Remember that left back we were linked to a couple years ago? So Nico Williams picked up an injury. They were looking at left backs. They picked up Luca Netz. So big up for them. Castellanos went to West Ham United as well. So a lot of teams, whether they're struggling at the bottom or whether they're really pushing to stay up or push for a Europe, are strengthening aside from us, man. This sort of like our midfield, man. Liverpool got Jeremy Jacquet, albeit they paid a little bit more, way more than he's worth, if we're being honest. But not only will, like, that's what I mean. In January, you're going to have to pay a little bit more, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. But it's about seeing where there's holes in the squad, and you have to plan for the future in the here and now. This is like looking at our midfield. Like, our midfield's been lightweight for years. We really need to be proactive about this, constantly having like a rotation here, an overlap here. So Kabi looks like he's fine, right? But he's shown different levels under Carrick, to be fair, right? I think we've seen some stuff in these last couple matches from Kabi that I don't think any of us knew that he had in his locker, which I'm pleasantly surprised about. But again, Casemiro's leaving. That's confirmed. Ugarte just is, in my opinion, not good enough. And we did keep him despite interest from other clubs in Europe this past month, whether that was Galatasaray, whether that was Ajax or whatever. We kept him. So clearly we weren't planning to do a whole lot of business if we're not letting these guys go. But he's just not good enough. The academy midfielders are not quite ready. Some of them are going on loan as well. Now Fletcher's got some minutes as well, so maybe Fletcher could come in and do a job. But again, it's not quite good enough, quite frankly. And it's a completely different system now. So we're under Ruben Amorim. We had 4 midfielders for 2 roles. Now we've got 3 for 2 roles in a pivot. Now that Bruno and Mount are basically the 10s now, so we need help. And I don't want to hear any excuses from Ineos about, maybe not knowing who the permanent manager is or what his system would be. We're not really going to be signing managers or players solely for a single manager's system anymore. I mean, Amorim never even got natural wingbacks, and his whole system is wingbacks kind of thing. Now, managers do need to have a say, they do need to have input. But again, if you're looking for managers who play the way you want to play as a club, the identity, the culture, the system, whatever you want to call it, then that makes things a lot more streamlined, a lot more fluid. You don't have to spend as much money. You don't have to worry about completely changing the whole system. You've got managers maybe who will play a system that suits the players, like what Carrick's doing. And it'll be less expensive and less lengthy rebuild as well. That is the beauty of maybe putting the club culture before the manager, something that we've never really done. Let's see. Sanjay's in the house. Big up, Sanjay. Good to see you. He's in Malta. Nice, man. Jim says the Glazers must be idiots. They should know if they put money in, they will make more money. So weird. Yeah, I mean, we already know the Glazers are idiots. These guys are crooks. The problem with Ineos is that they're so slow. They're like my grandparents driving on a Sunday afternoon. Like, the rest of the world's got stuff to do. There's a speed limit. There's a traffic flow, but they just don't care. They're just doing their own thing. They're going their own pace. They'll get there when they get there. And everyone else has got to kind of go around, and everyone else is passing them by. It's very similar to other clubs. Like, that's literally what Ineos are doing, man. This whole we don't want to run to the wrong decision thing is an absolute load of bollocks, because you can also run to the right decision if you know what the right decision is. They're so afraid of making a mistake or something, or so afraid of spending money unnecessarily, that they're just afraid to spend money, period. And it's a little bit ridiculous. um, but I've said it so many times that like Ineos, they're so concerned about that again they're crossing a line into being very, very extreme with that caution to the point of it's actually again self-harming. They're just so risk averse. They're so afraid of making the wrong decision that they don't make any decision, and it's causing us to stagnate a little bit. And it's sad to say, like, and it sounds a little extreme to say that when they've only been here maybe 2 years now, but again, the proof is in the pudding. It's right there, man. Um now, David Ornstein claimed today that the only way we would have signed somebody in January is if some sort of an unmissable opportunity became available, or presented itself, like just like maybe like the Semenyo thing. I don't know, but again, like I don't get that, man. This isn't a buy one get one free. No one's hanging signs on the windows at stadiums like, "Hey, come!" But it's a BOGO sale. Come get players. We have needs. We have priorities in the squad, regardless of who the manager is. Like to an extent, again, but just go and get it done. I don't care. Like it's not a big deal. An extra 10, 15 million in the grand scheme of things is a drop in the ocean compared to what it might have helped you get in return in terms of a deeper FA Cup run or Champions League football or whatever you want to call it. Like that could have been the difference. Um, no player again is ever just available. You have to go and get them, do the work. I doubt Elliot Anderson would have left Forest, for instance, while they're kind of struggling. They could get relegated. Forest. They're only 6, 7 points above relegation right now. I doubt that he's the kind of player who's just going to dip out and jump ship in January with that going on. But Elliot Anderson aside, you could have still gone and locked him in for the summer now, and just he could have kept playing, like that kind of stuff. The thinking outside the box sort of business, those kind of deals. Like we don't do that very often. We don't look at little loans very much. We don't look at players who are going to be available on a free. We don't look at players who are out of season right now, like in some South American leagues or in Norway or anything. We don't really seem to be pursuing those kind of deals. And let's say our future midfield is like it's Cobby, it's Anderson. We'll just use it as an example. Don't forget we got Kone and Orozco as well. We still need a couple more midfielders to rotate, to come in and out for depth and everything. There are options in January for those kind of players as well. We need an upgrade on Ugarte, for instance. We need a backup. We need a rotation option for Menu, someone who is a little bit more creative, a little bit more ball progressive, things like that, man. You could have looked at Hugo Larsson at Eintracht Frankfurt. They're out of Europe now. Diamande at Rangers. They're out of Europe now as well. I think, but Morten Frendrup, again, another example. There are options out there right now. And that's my point. Is there are options. It doesn't really seem like we're looking around. We're trying to look at opportunities. We're just waiting for that perfect player, and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting when there are other options. We can't just wait all summer and get Anderson and then turn around and start looking for other midfield options. It's not going to work. If we're still here with someone like Anderson and we still have Ugarte and we still have Menu and nobody else and going into next season, it's going to be a problem. It's really going to be a problem. Nota, big ups, is giving them the benefit of a doubt. Maybe they want some statement signings in the summer to attract a top level manager. Again, if that just it's so backwards. It's kind of like when we got all these stories about like we don't want players if they only want to come for Champions League. Like again, part of working with who you have, and it again maybe I'm not trying to compare it to Fergie because Fergie was an outlier in what he could squeeze from the players that he has, but you have to be able to get something from the players. You can't just as a manager only be able to do it if you sign the best players. Like that's what Pep's made a career out of. He goes to squads that are already stacked, gets a blank check, and that's like to me that's not testing anything. Like that's like doing double digit math with a calculator. Like cool, you got the homework done, you passed the test, but you use every tool to your advantage, and it's not really working at that point. It's not really big. Big up Dylan in the house. Check in during class. You really hope we buy in the summer and buy well. We had some opportunity to strengthen and didn't have to get the summer right. Yeah, I mean, again, I worry about there's a lack of scouting at this club sometimes that we don't look for the opportunities. Now, I was impressed with Dorgu. He was a hidden gem. I think that we were following him for a while, but most of the other players we've signed were pretty obvious. Aside from like youngsters like Aiden Heaven, for instance, like most of them are pretty obvious. Lenny Euro is one of the highest rated center backs in the French league at the time. It wasn't in like the French league's team of the season 2 years ago. looking at guys like Shesko, who was all over everyone's lips. Arsenal have been linked with him forever. Like Semenyo, we were in for Semenyo. Baleba, it was seemed like an obvious target. Like there's not really much scouting going on. For oftentimes, I feel like at this club, we go at the transfer market looking at targets like some 13-year-old who's never watched a minute of football playing Ultimate Team for the first time. Just who's the best? Who's the best? Let's sign him. Like it doesn't. There are so many good players out there that you don't have to go and spend an arm and a leg on. And I just wish we would do that a little bit more. Big up, Michael Beck. Good to see you again. If we get 2 or 3 injuries, we have no depth to cover. Yeah, and that was my next point. What about injuries, man? Thank you. Like, what happens if Mainu picks up an injury? We've got nobody to play that side, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, there were opportunities there to go get that done. What if Casemiro picks up an injury? Like, what if Bruno picks up an injury? Is Mount? I mean, Mount wasn't even in the squad the other day, man. It's really ridiculous. I'm so annoyed. But again, it's a shame that, like, for instance, like again, another target. It's a shame that Bodo Glimt qualified for the next round because I think Patrick Berg would have been a really good Christian Eriksen type signing for that holding midfield role that he maybe come in and rotate with Mainu here and there. When you want someone who can kind of dictate play, can take care of the ball a little better, I think Patrick Berg would have been a good one as well. Um, but it's just like Ward Prowse went to Burnley. They got in a loan for them as well. We could have just loaned Patrick Berg too. That would have been just fine because I think Bodo's season is up for a little while. But Buonanotte went to Leeds as well. Conor Gallagher at Spurs, Angel Gomez at Wolves. Like these are all loans and whatnot. These shrewd little signings that other teams are doing just because they have a hole they had to fill. They don't have a lot of money to work with, and it's a temporary fix. Like when's the last time we've done loans? Like we don't do them very often. I think the last one was Sabitzer and Beghorst and Reguilon. Like we don't take advantage of those kind of things. And I never understood why. We haven't really done loans all that much under the Glazers unless it's been like 30-year-old strikers or emergencies. Like that's it. Let me get caught up here in the chat here. Tobias says there's no value in the market. If you don't have good analysts, if you don't have good scouts, if you don't have good recruitment, then yeah, they're always going to look like that. But there is value out there. There definitely is value. I just listed half a dozen players that could have come in and raised the floor of our squad and done just fine. Like that's not that hard to do. I'm not accusing you. I'm just saying like it's not that hard to do, man. Jim says Glazers and Ineos seem to be just seeing what they can get away with. And unfortunately, we are just letting them get away with it. Not sure we were getting players in the summer. I mean, we are going to get players in the summer. My whole rant today is about why do we have to wait till the summer to get it done? Like January shouldn't just be an automatic grind everything to a halt for your whole transfer strategy for the next several years. You could have still gotten some business done. You could have spent a little bit more. Like if we would have had a signing in January 1st, we could have beaten Brighton to go to the next round of the FA Cup. They could have gotten 3 points against Burnley instead of just the draw. We could maybe qualify for Champions League if we get we could have got a quality signing in January. Like, and I don't understand how Ineos don't see that. It's like they're only waiting for the top target and they're not going to spend more than they have to, and that's it. I worry. I mean, different ownership, but if you guys remember that summer we chased Harry Maguire, we bantered and argued and haggled with Leicester all summer long. Took months. And finally, we just paid what they wanted to anyway. And we never get multiple deals done at the same time. So it's literally just waiting around to get like, it's so incompetent at this club, man. It's really is. Now, let me get over here. Aku welcome says Atuk. Let's not pray we get injured. Yeah, I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. Bexy says, didn't the team need to prove itself? I mean, the team always needs to prove itself. A lot of these players have blood on their hands, but that doesn't change the fact that we need depth in the squad. We need quality and we need depth. If we get injuries, we've only got 3 midfielders playing 2 roles. Like what happens when Kobe picks up an injury? I guess we're playing 1 match a week. It is what it is, but we do need some depth. We do need to be able to rotate. Kobe can't play full 90 every single match all the time. We need to be able to rotate. Michael says, should have gone all in this window to guarantee top 4. We should have. It doesn't really matter to me how much a player costs. And at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter to fans how much they cost. That's not our problem to figure out. The problem is that's what you pay Ineos and their best-in-class recruitment team all the money to go figure out how to get these deals done. how to negotiate. Have multiple players on your list in case you don't get the top one, or multiple targets. So if you're going for Elliot Anderson, you don't want to pay 125 million. All right, keep negotiating, but go get other deals done. These players need to get in before the World Cup. These players needed to get in January, potentially before, like by January 1st. Like, it takes too long. We're too slow. I said it last summer. We got Cunha done. Awesome. Took months to get everybody else in. They didn't get a preseason. And I knew exactly what was going to happen when they didn't get the preseason is they weren't going to start right away. And that's exactly what happened. You saw it under Ten Hag as well. You have to get these players in for preseason because preseason is so important. Go find any former player who's on YouTube or whatever. They've all said, the Rio said it, everybody said it. You have to go get the stuff done early. Now, what I'm hearing too is there's this argument going around, some pundits, some journalists saying, that we didn't spend a lot in January because we are apparently setting ourselves up for a major summer window. Like, again, I don't care. You could have still gotten business done in January, man. Coming up in the summer, we're going to save almost 18 million a year on Casemiro's wages because he's going to be gone. Sancho's wages too will be off the books. Potentially Maguire's wages too. I'm not seeing that he's going to want to take a pay cut. Malasia's wages will be off the books. Malasia is on like 70, 75K a week. So all that will be, that's money saved every single year. We'll have money coming in for Højlund, Rashford too, whether that's Barcelona paying the 30 million euros or somebody else coming. Somebody will pay it. That I'm not worried about. Now, Barcelona have the potential to get a deal. Now, if they're so fucked financially that they can't afford 30 million euros when they were the ones who agreed to it, then that's not my problem. But I'm not taking less than that for Rashford. He should be worth a little bit more. They got a bargain as far as I'm concerned. And a potential fee for Xerxes as well. Maybe Ugarte as well is thrown in there. So we're going to be getting some money. I understand that, but we don't have to wait that long. I'm still iffy on the whole idea of really pushing for this overall lower wage bill because to an extent, like, I get it, scouting good players, bringing in younger players, you don't have to pay them as much. I totally understand that aspect of it, but you do have to pay the best players more than the other players, and that's just part of it. There is a correlation, if you read Soccernomics, between wage bill and success on the pitch, and it's not rocket science. The best players get paid more money. Not saying we have to bring in a bunch of 350, 300K a week players, but that whole lower wage structure model will only last you so long. It only goes so far before you do have to start bringing in better players because other clubs will offer the wages. Other clubs will pay that kind of stuff. And quite frankly, some of these players will be worth it. It is what it is. So I get it to an extent, but it only goes so far. But again, we've got this reported 100 million budget. We've got all these wages going off the books, these potential fees coming in as well. So you could call it going into the summer, what you can call it at a conservative, maybe 200 million. Now I put that question out in the community page. We're going to revisit that question next week on the Kickabout. No Kickabout tomorrow. There's not really enough going on, and Dylan and I need some time because what we're going to do, each of us are going to get a 200 million budget, and we're going to rebuild United this summer. We're going to tackle that. So Dylan's going to get his picks. I'm going to get my picks. You guys get your picks in. You can save them for the show, or you can put them in that post in the comments. But that's what we're going to be doing next week. So go prepare for that. But the whole wage thing, that's a whole nother conversation. But now, David Ornstein again reiterated today that we're targeting a big midfield overhaul today and this summer. That's being in the plan. He adds that we're also maybe looking at a left winger or two after we had that money for Semenyo set aside. So he kind of, I guess, put two and two together and said maybe we're looking for an attacker. Maybe Semenyo was just one of those unmissable opportunities. I don't know. But I think we're pretty stacked on attackers right now. I think we're good. Maybe a striker rotation option would go amiss, but Mbumo can play there. I'm not that concerned about it. He adds, too, that potentially we might be looking at a center back if Harry Maguire leaves. But so that leaves us with Licha, De Ligt, Euro, Heaven, 4 quality options. De Ligt's fitness is a bit iffy at the moment. Mizraoui can fill in there as well. So center back's not top priority for me, but it's something to keep an eye on, something to start planning for. I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't prioritize it over other positions. I'm still looking at a left back. I love an upgrade on Dallo at right back too as well. I think that he needs to be upgraded on. Now, maybe we could stick with Mizraoui there and maybe just get someone younger to come in, maybe someone we could like give our Reed or something who's playing at Feyenoord, very young, very good player. But again and again, another young striker wouldn't go amiss. But minimum, we're going to be looking at like 2 midfielders, maybe left back, maybe left wing, maybe striker, maybe center back. I don't know, man. That's like 6 or 7 players, but some of them could be younger, like right back or center back. You can go get a younger center back if you wanted to. But again, it could be a big summer. Um, Keyword maybe, yeah. You never know, man. But again, so keep thinking about that. How would you spend 200 million this summer if that was your budget? Again, we'll be tackling that on the next episode of the Kickabout, so be sure to come back for that. But back to the point. Yes, you do have to spend a little bit more to get your top targets in January, but like we've done it before. Like I've said, we've listed other players. We've done Bruno, Mata, Evra, Vidic, all these guys. We've done them in the past, so we could do it. Other clubs do it. And again, ahead of a summer where the World Cup is going to bring all the transfer business to a grinding halt, we have to get it done early, even if that means getting it done in January. Arsenal did that exact thing with Aubameyang the year before the 2014 World Cup. They went and got him in January because they weren't going to be able to get anything done in the World Cup. So they just went and did it. Like, it's not that difficult to go and do. We've done it before. A loan or a rotation option the first week of January, again, could have meant FA Cup still. It could be 3 points against Burnley, and it could mean, Champions League football. But again, the question comes down to, do you trust the squad we have to qualify for Champions League? It's all well and good, 3 wins on the bounce under Carrick, but can any of us say with 100% certainty that we'll see him going on his winning run for the rest of the season? Like, you do lose games in football. It's going to happen at some point. We're going to come up against players who maybe on the day are better, maybe just overall are better, maybe that tactically they just get one over on Carrick. It's going to happen. Maybe our players just don't show up on the day. We've seen that happen as well. Like, it will happen eventually. We are going to drop some points. So the question is, do you trust these players to get you over the line to qualify for Champions League? Because it's still tight right now. We're not 100% guaranteed a top 5 spot, because it does look like top 5 is going to get it this year. The table is very tight. One day we're 4th, and by the end of the day we're 6th if we're not playing and some other teams doing it. So eventually, us, Liverpool, Villa, Chelsea, one of these teams is going to start dropping more points. It could very well still be us. Like, we've seen crazier things happen. As far as Ineos are concerned, though, it's too easy for them to look better than the Glazers. Like, it's too easy, or look better than Ed Woodward. Like, it doesn't take much. These guys would never dip into their own pockets to challenge for a trophy when they could just do the bare minimum to get top 4, or just sack a manager if that doesn't happen. Ineos had a free hit in January to show a modicum of ambition, and they swung and they missed. They didn't even really swing, honestly. They just did not care. And I said going into January that whether or not we did any business was going to be a big indicator of where the ambition is for the rest of the season. We sacked Amorim in January. We got Carrick in, and there's been nothing happening since. We've let a couple of youngsters go on loan, and that was it. That was it. There's nothing there. We had money set aside for Semenyo, so where is that money? How can we have money set aside for an unmissable opportunity like we did with Cristiano Ronaldo several years ago, but that money can't be used for other things? You can expedite your rebuild by 6 months by just going and getting it done. It doesn't make sense. They had a free hit and they missed entirely, man. Super annoying. Let me get caught up on this chat, you guys. Get your thoughts in, you guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. And like I said, a little bit of a rant today, but I just woke up and I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed already. Ineos they need to go. They don't know what they're doing. And this whole, like, they're going to kill us if they focus on trying to get this wage bill down to like maximum 200K a week or something for a lot of players. They're going to kill us. They're going to kill us by just not moving with any sort of ambition or urgency or any sort of hustle or proactivity in the transfer window. And they're going to kill us if they keep bringing in managers and major personnel and sacking them mid-season. We've spent so much money sacking Ten Hag, Ashworth, and Amorim. After we spent so much money bringing these guys in, we got a new contract for Ten Hag, fees paid for Ashworth, and now I'm still questioning guys like Barada and Wilcox, especially. You can go check out my replacement director of football videos as well. The link is in the description for this video. But like, it's just not good enough. And I'm worried that it's going to put us even further back than forward at this point. Let's see. Like he says, my friend Glazers have told Ineos we don't have to spend in January. I bet you don't know that. We have money. We were gonna go get Semenyo. Like the money was there. I don't know where it went after Semenyo went to City though. But I don't know. You guys let me know. What would you rate this transfer window? If you had to rate this on a 1 out of 10, based on opportunities, based on need, based on what we saw from Ineos, based on just everything, what would you rate it? Because I'm literally giving this January a 0 out of 10. I would give it negative numbers if I could, because again, you can say that you have to spend more. There's not many market opportunities. There's no value. I don't care about value in the market. The reason Arsene Wenger talks like that and stuff is because Arsene Wenger is an economist. He was an economist before he started managing in Asia, before he went to Arsenal. That's the way his brain works. If it's not a good deal, he's not doing it. If there's not an ROI involved, Arsene Wenger's not doing it. I don't care about ROI. Football is the one business, the one industry where success is not measured in spreadsheets and like margins. It's not measured in bank accounts. It's measured with trophies and wins. And if you spend a little bit more to do it, then that's the most important thing, because that is what's going to lead to bigger things in the long run. Look at what we've done as a club simply by being successful, not by cheating, not by being owned by an entire state. Like, we have done it because of generations of managers and players who have given everything and who've made us who we are today. Devasi says 0 out of 10. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a 0 out of 10 for me, dude. 0 out of 10. Like it says, if we don't spend in January more transfers in the summer, we could, but again, some of those summer transfers could have been done in January. Look at what City did with Mark Gahey and Semenyo. Look what Liverpool did with Jeremy Jacquet. Like, you can do those big, like, look what City did last January. Now, I know it's not fair to use City as an example. They're a bunch of cheating assholes. But again, they signed like 4 first-teamers last January. They spent, what, $200 million last January. They spent another $100 million. They spent $300 million in 2 January windows alone. That doesn't include what they did in the summer, man. It's ridiculous. Michael says, trophies, remember those days. We've won 3 in the last couple of years, man. We have an FA Cup and we've got a League Cup as well. We've been to like 4 finals in the last 3 years. It's not bad. That's Arsenal fans would kill for what we've done in our worst era. Just in the last 2 years alone, like, Arsenal fans would kill for that. Don't let them fool you. And they'll sit here and say they've got bigger fish to fry. Well, you keep frying, you're not eating, because you're always second place. I'm still not 100% worried about Arsenal this season. They've got a better shot because I don't think anybody saw City absolutely shitting the bed like they have done. City keep dropping points somehow. Don't ask me how, but they do. But I'm still not. Arsenal fans literally after this weekend talking about, yep, title's ours. You're 6 points ahead. You've literally been top of the league. Well, I can't remember what year it was. There was a year where they were top of the league for 84% of the year, and they still did not win it. And that was more than they've been so far. Like, they could still bottle it. There's more evidence to suggest that they're going to bottle it than there's evidence to suggest that they're going to keep it up. Like, they've got a shit ton of players who are just not pulling their weight. Own goal is like their top scorer in the league. Like, the chickens are going to come home to roost, man. It just is what it is. In other news, Casemiro is up for Premier League Player of the Week this week, so you guys don't know what to do. If he wins, this will be our 5th, maybe 6th Premier League Player of the Week this year. I think that's more than like any other club this season. So big up Cass. He was an absolute machine over the weekend against Fulham. Like, what a performance from him. I'm still buzzing over that no look assist to Cunha that for our second goal. That was a thing of beauty. The boss says, if Arsenal wins the league, I think I'll disappear for 2 days. I mean, yeah, their fans. It's bad enough that their fans are unbearable when they've literally won fuck all. Can you imagine what it would be like if they actually won the Premier League? Ugh, just stay off the internet for a couple of days. I'm still not worried though. And if they don't win it, I expect everyone to come back here and say, yep, Sean, you got it right. Because I'm still not concerned. But I want to know your thoughts on the January window, you guys. Like I said, a little bit of a rant today, shorter video today, but I'm frustrated as fuck right now with with Ineos. I'm frustrated with this club and the complete abandonment of ambition in terms of just getting us challenging, not for the league. We're not going to win the league, but like just getting us challenging for things, getting us looking like we're taking things seriously, man. It's a freaking annoying pickup, Rob. Rob Taft's in the house. Um, but it's just frustrating. It's frustrating as hell. I don't know what we're doing on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis behind the scenes. And if we're just looking at the big names, that again, why did we bring in best-in-class recruitment if like literally anybody who like can watch football for a half second will go and buy someone like a Baleba or an Anderson or whoever? Like there's no analysis there. There's no recruitment. There's no scouting there. It's too easy. But again, that being said, Anderson is my top choice. But I want to know your thoughts. What did you rate the window out of 10? What would you have done differently? What are your thoughts on Ineos right now? Because they're not, there's so much in the negative right now. There's very little positives that I've seen from them. We brought in a few players last January and to really kickstart that kind of rebuild under Amorim with Dorgu and Aiden Heaven as well. I feel like we signed another player that January. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but we needed to do something this summer or this January, and we just did not even look. We didn't do anything. Tobias says, no look assist, Bruno's fake through ball, no look finish from Shesko. Yeah, it was some brilliant goals, man. Rob says, this January window was a PR farce of smoke and mirrors. We're an injury to it. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, Rob. And we're still waiting on that mystery midfielder that Ben Jacobs told us about. There were people who thought that was a legitimate thing. Obviously, we had a little fun with it. We were trying to figure out who it could be by putting together all the little puzzle pieces like it was the fucking Da Vinci Code. But in the end, obviously, nobody came in. So I don't know. I don't really know if Loftus-Cheek would have done, but again, it would have been nice to just get somebody in on loan at least. Like I said, Patrick Berg. Had Bodo not qualified for the next round, that would have been a perfect one in my opinion. Hugo Larson's just chilling there. Diamande at Rangers. There are players out there. So, but again, don't forget no kickabout this week. We're doing that next week. But again, the kickabout next week, and you guys get involved. Go check out the post. If you had $200 million to spend this summer, how would you spend it at United? So that's what Dylan and I are going to do. We're each going to come up with our list, our plan, and we're going to have some fun with that. So be sure to come back next week for that one. It just takes a while to plan that kind of stuff. Dylan and I both have jobs and stuff, so it is what it is. But in any case, you guys, I am going to leave it there. It is a pretty short video today. Tobias says mystery midfielder was buried. Yeah. Rob says Gallagher looked decent for Spurs. Yeah, Gallagher got that assist for Solanke's just scorpion kick, his wonder goal. Yeah, other clubs did business. You know, City did business, Liverpool did business, Spurs did business. Fucking Sunderland have done more than we have. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous, dude. So, but you guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to me. Michael says, are you watching the Super Bowl? Honestly, I haven't watched Super Bowl in a while. I can't watch NFL. I can't watch a whole lot of other sports now, just because of commercials. I tried to watch, so I live in Michigan. I tried to watch some of the playoffs a couple years ago when the Lions were in the playoffs. I made it about 5 minutes into the first quarter, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore because it's literally every play. It's like a 2-second run, and then it's 30 seconds of commercials, and it was just I can't do that. I literally can't do that. It's an hour-long game, and it takes 3 hours. I can't handle it. I literally can't handle it. So, but yeah, I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl, Michael. You have to let me know. I haven't followed football forever. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but yeah, I'll have to look it up. The boss says Gallagher is still sheet lucky. I'd still pick Baleba. I'm big in Anderson. That's my pick, but I'm not going to spoil too much for the next week's kickabout because we're going to have fun with it. But you guys, make sure you like and please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Please go ahead and share the video if you can. Check the memberships too, by the way. It's the best way to get involved in the channel. We'll have a scout report coming up for you later on as well this week. And then obviously we're doing the preview of the match this weekend against Spurs. It's an early kickoff this weekend, so we're going to be doing that bright and early, but we don't complain about early kickoffs because we're not Liverpool fans. Sorry, guys. But in any case, we'll be back with all that. Hopefully I get my computer back, my other computer back soon, because that would make things a lot easier. But until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you guys for stopping by and listening to me rant for a little while. If you want to leave a rant in the comments, go for it. It'll get a like from me. So, but take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keeping it brief, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.